Please welcome the Not So Late Night Band.
Good evening, St. Luke's. Can I get a yeah? Can I get a oh yeah? Thank you very much. We'd like to welcome our host tonight, because it's not so late. Please put your hands together for St. Luke's board chair, Mr. Christopher Russell.
All right, hello, St. Luke's, and welcome to the Not So Late Night Show. You're too kind. I thought initially that I would be the perfect host for this thing because my bedtime is strictly 10 p.m., maybe a little bit sooner, hence Not So Late Night. But then I realized that I actually haven't seen a late night talk show in I don't know how long. And then I realized that these things typically start off with like a long comedic opening monologue. That is not gonna happen. I don't have a team of comedy writers, and I myself am not funny. You're very kind to laugh. So instead, I want to start off with a very, very important introduction. I know we've got some new parents in the crowd. I know we've got a lot of returning folks, parents and faculty members, and people who are familiar with St. Luke's. I want to give these new parents a proper St. Luke's welcome, so I want them to give us a little wave, and I want you guys to show them some love. So new parents, where are you? A little wave. Come out there. Thank you. Well done. Good job, St. Luke's. Welcome, new families. We can't wait to get to know you. We can't wait to know your students. And welcome to our St. Luke's family. My family on the screen behind me, my wife Megan is sitting over there someplace. And, So our eldest child, Connor, started in the 9th grade in 2016. Megan and I, first night like this in 2016. A year later, Keelan joined the school in the 8th grade. And a year later, and if you've been keeping track, that's 3 years in a row in the admissions office. Not stressful at all. A year later, our daughter Maggie joined the school in the 5th grade. And tonight is actually the high point of my St. Luke's time because tonight I get to share a stage with Maggie, sitting right over here. Maggie is my favorite daughter. And over these years, since then, since 2016, Megan and I have marveled that even though our kids are so different, they have different interests and abilities and strengths and weaknesses and styles and study habits and all that stuff, just like all of our kids are different, they're all unique. For our family, for our kids, they've each found a path where they can experiment with new things, they can try them, see if they're any good at them. Sometimes they're not good at them, that's okay. But ultimately what they do is they find their path through St. Luke's and they learn how to thrive. They learn how to become, from children to mature young adults. That's the goal here at St. Luke's, to let kids thrive. It's actually on the cover of our strategic plan, that one word, thrive. But I don't want you to take my word for it. And actually I'm very privileged to be able to do this with you, to take you along on this journey and go to the source and let the people who do the work tell us those stories. So please welcome our first guests of the evening from our middle school, Jacob Buckman, TJ Francois, and Jenna Napak.
Louie! Hefty.
All right. Is this your first time on a talk show?
Yes.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I have no idea what we're doing. We're going to learn how to do this together. We got this. We'll do it together. Here we go. All right, so last year, when you guys were in 5th grade, you were the first 5th graders to take on what was called a purpose project as part of your Leading with Humanities studies. And as I understand it, you were asked to identify a need in the St. Luke's community and figure out how to address that need. And you chose the topic of, pretty weighty topic for 5th grade, weighty topic for anybody, diversity and inclusion. So TJ, you're holding the microphone. We're gonna start with you. How did your team tackle this work?
So part of our project consisted on surveying students at St. Luke's to see how they feel at school.
And up on the screen right here, this is your survey, right?
Yes. We wanted to know how people feel when they walk through the doors each morning. One question we asked was, what makes you feel included at SLS and why? One of the students said, everyone being really nice and comforting. Also, when you were sitting alone, they invite you to sit with them. There were also a few kids who wish they felt more included. So that's why we know we have to keep working on finding ways to think about everyone and ask how they are doing. Another question we asked was, do you think we can improve the school's diversity? Students said they would like to have more food from different cultures. This is something that we have been working on over the years, but we are making progress. For example, last year we had Soul Fest for Black History Month, and we also made food to celebrate the Chinese New Year. This year, we made mooncakes.
And that's a great way of doing it. Food, breaking bread together. And food, makes you feel at home. You can taste what home tastes like to somebody else. You've passed the microphone to Jacob. So Jacob, can you tell us why your group started this focus and focused on inclusion for your purpose project?
Because everybody should be included. It's important to have people from different cultures with different experiences in different backgrounds and to see in a school committee. That way people can see things from a different perspectives. You can understand what people are going through and what they like and dislike. It is important to have friends that have similar experiences to you, but also have different experiences. And diversity is about what's on the inside and what's on the outside. It is important to be inclusive in a diverse community so that everybody can learn from each other and have fun.
And that stays true, right? As you get older, as we all get older, it's more interesting and fun to have different kinds of people in your life. And so let's turn to Jenna at the end of the sofa. Jenna, as you worked in this project, how did it help you grow as a leader?
Working on the Purpose Project last year has helped me grow as a leader because after learning about diversity and inclusion, I feel like I can understand people and their opinions about what it means to belong in the SLS community. I feel like I can listen to others' thoughts and ideas about how they feel and bring those topics to a teacher to work on, making sure we continue to build a community where everyone belongs. After doing this project, I realized how important it is to be curious and ask questions to get a better understanding of what people are thinking and how they are feeling. It is also important to listen and give your full attention when people are sharing their thoughts and ideas.
So Jenna, do you think that young kids can really lead and make a difference?
We're learning that leaders are people who make a positive difference in their communities. A leader is a person everyone is happy to have on their team or as a friend because that person makes the community better. I believe that young kids can make a difference because we have many ideas and we want to help.
And you... Great news, they want to help. They're already poised, they're already ready to do that work. That's why our school motto, which you've all passed under 100 times, enter to learn, go forth to serve, because we know you guys are full of ideas and the commitment to serve. And I want to close this piece with a message from somebody else who has actually gone forth to serve, like literally. You guys know Miss Gabriel, right? So Julia Gabriel is spending the next several months. Well, why am I telling you this? We've got a clip from Julia. She can tell you. Let's roll Julia's clip.
Hey, St. Luke's. I am sending love from aboard the Global Mercy here in Sierra Leone, Africa. You can see it in the background. I can't believe I'm actually here, but it feels like, honestly, I was always meant to be. All those years that I've been spending at St. Luke's with a mission that I truly believe in of raising compassionate, humane leaders inspired me to pursue this dream several years ago. I only arrived less than a week ago, but honestly, it's already been an incredible, incredible experience. I'm working in the Mercy Ship's galley, cooking for the crew. You can see by my snappy little uniform here. And I'm working alongside some amazing people. We help to feed almost 700 people every single day, a crew of very hardworking volunteers. Every day I get to work alongside incredibly skilled doctors, nurses, and other health professionals who could be anywhere but choose to be here in Sierra Leone healing those most in need. I'm already thinking about my St. Luke's meditation. I want every student to feel how service can ignite meaning in their lives. I miss you all terribly, and I will send you updates while I can. But in the meantime, wish me luck, and I will see you at the end of January. Take care, St. Luke's.
Amazing, isn't that? Julia, halfway around the world, still representing St. Luke's, our mission. Thank you to Julia. Thank you guys. You did a great job. Thank you for living the mission. Awesome, right? I mean, so good, so good. So next up, let's welcome Teddy Lukens and Sarah Westerberg-Egan. All right, we're going to talk about, and you're going to talk about, an old but new St. Luke's tradition, the Founders Cup. So, Teddy, as we talked about earlier, we introduced them earlier, a lot of new families here. What can you tell them and tell all of us about the Founders Cup?
Well, Founders Cup began as a year-long upper school competition aimed at promoting unity and school spirit. It originally started during World War II and was brought back in 2013 by student council leaders. It was then revived again in 2022, and in 2023, for the first time ever, middle school was added to the mix. St. Luke's students and teachers are divided into 3 houses, which you can see up there, named after the St. Luke's founders. Founders Cup has fostered a sense of community and friendly competition, celebrating the spirit of St. Luke's.
All right, let's turn to Westy. Can I call you Westy?
Absolutely, yeah.
So, that would have been
Everyone
super
does.
awkward if the answer was no. Can you give us a few examples of Founders Cup activity?
Yeah, of course. So in our upper school, we see Henry Stimson. He's leading the way this year with Upper School Student Council. He was born for this. And so we've got the spelling, they did a spelling bee during the homecoming week. We've done kickball tournaments. They said a whipped cream competition. Don't ask, I don't know. And then his favorite has been the dodgeball, and they just did a big faculty staff dodgeball competition, which is really cool. In the middle school, I work with our student life committee, and it's all about friendly, fun competition, about joy and creating a sense of belonging. And we kick off the year with not quite as magical as Harry Potter, but I'd like to think it's pretty close, a sorting ceremony where our new students are sorted into their house, a house that they'll be in their whole time here on the hilltop from 5th to 12th grade.
Okay, well, obvious question, Teddy, what house did you get sorted into?
So I was sorted into the Von Fabris house. Go Von Fabris. Growing up, I always loved the houses from the Harry Potter movies, so when I found out that St. Luke's was doing a similar thing, I felt like I just had to get involved.
That's so cool. I mean, you get to live out the Harry Potter moment. So Westy, what happens next?
All right, so they get sorted, and they are warmly welcomed into their house. We kick it right off into house bonding, which is so vital about creating a sense of family in that house. And so we kick it off with family, think of family game nights, right? With board games, and then we do some charades, and then some team building where they are building the tallest tower with index cards or solving puzzles really fast. So that's our house bonding. And then we do team versus team competitions throughout the year. Kickball, relay races. My favorite is the Founders Frenzy game show, in which they're competing in minute-to-win-it competitions, faculty and students all on stage doing really silly stuff. And it's a whole lot of fun. And then it all culminates in the big event, which is Field Day, a time-honored tradition here at St. Luke's. Last year, we added a little bit more pageantry and tradition with Dr. Carter, our seniors walking through our 5th graders, with our Hilltop Hound Hefty leading the way. We even had students singing the national anthem. It was really beautiful. It's a tradition we're going to keep going with. Then they play for the rest of the day with traditional Field Day competitions, hula hoop, relay race, bucket races, all the points. Oh, it all, of course, culminates in tug of war, right? You can't have field day without tug of war. And then we tally up all the points from the whole year, upper and middle school together, and right before our seniors graduate, we announce the winner. And of course, I'm sure you're wondering what the prize is.
Tell us
Well,
about
it's a
the prize.
tremendous trophy.
Naturally.
And your name forever on there in the legacy of St. Luke's that you are the winner that year. And Von Fabris was the winner last year, so.
So not only do you get a prize, but a prize just sits on the shelf. You get bragging rights in perpetuity. So that's pretty cool. Teddy, you were involved in the middle school rollout last year, and so why was it so important to make Founders Cup a school-wide tradition?
Yeah, so Founders Cup brings students together by working towards a common goal. We learn to be a good sport and to play with the honor code in mind. We laugh a lot and we learn to bond with each other. Students will look back and remember all the fun we had. For me, Founders Cup makes me feel a deep connection to the school and the people around me. I've made friends that I would never have if it weren't for this great tradition.
It's so cool. It's so cool to see this tradition evolve and really get rejuvenated at St. Luke's, and we will see who triumphs in the Founders Cup. Stay tuned. Thank you guys for keeping this tradition alive. I love traditions, Peter. You like traditions?
I love traditions as well.
Of course you do. Let's highlight another St. Luke's tradition, the Global Scholars Program. Please welcome Beth Yavenditti and Lucy Geist. All right, thank you both for being here. We're going to jump right in. Beth, can you tell us a little bit about the origins of the Global Scholars Program?
Absolutely. So my colleague Jason Haynes, a history teacher, he and I started here about 20 years ago. At the end of our first year, we looked at each other and we're like, we have all these kids who are super curious about global issues. They wanted to work in a more interdisciplinary manner, and we're like, we have to do something. So we wanted to encourage that curiosity, and we also really wanted to hone their research and presentation skills. We pitched the idea to the administration, got the green light, and here we are now 18 years later.
And in over 18 years. And get this, over 18 years, the program has expanded considerably, hasn't it?
Quite a bit. We now have literary and STEM scholars. In our first symposium, we had 3 scholar presentations. This year in April, we will have 43 scholars presenting.
43 scholars, 43, and we are lucky that we have one with us tonight. Lucy, we're going to turn to you. Why did you want to become a global scholar?
Yeah, so when selecting my current senior year courses, I felt that Global Scholars was going to provide me with the best foundation of vital skills that I'll need for college and even beyond that. And so what I really appreciate about the program so far is that it's already allowed me to see our world from multiple perspectives, encouraging me to think critically about current issues along with possible solutions. What I also appreciate is how it allows us to grow in so many different areas, whether that be our analytical, our writing, or even our public speaking and presentation skills like this. And additionally, more specific to global scholars, I've genuinely just appreciated the opportunity to expand my knowledge on worldwide issues and their implications on a global, national, and even a local level.
All right, well, you can't tease us like that. What's your topic and why did you choose it?
Okay, so when settling into a specific topic, it could seem like totally a daunting task out of the endless current events and current issues. And however, having a group of over 14 students constantly discussing topics from every corner of the globe definitely helped me to brainstorm there. And so I always knew that I was interested in US immigration patterns, but I wanted to find a topic that would connect globally and keep me captivated throughout the entire year. So I actually decided on the topic of the power and operation of drug cartels in Mexico and how these organized crime schemes are encroaching into America and exacerbating our domestic problems. I know, super light, family-friendly topic. But seriously, these groups with such a seemingly simple purpose have so many impacts on both sides of the border and even beyond that that I think will be truly intriguing to unpack.
I mean, that is amazing, amazing. And Not only intriguing to unpack, but we're all going to learn something from that too. So Beth, earlier I asked you if you could share a few, like, where are they now examples from the scholars?
Yeah, this was a very, very hard thing. We have so many wonderful alums doing incredible things, but I did pick a few. Our first scholar is Sebastian Bates. You'll see him up there. He studied poetry, politics, and reform in Solon's Athens, and he's now a barrister in London. Yeah, amazing. Our next scholar was Carolina Warnerid, and she studied engineering sanitation solutions, and she's now at MIT getting her master's in mechanical engineering, and she's working on advanced prosthetic technologies, so that's wonderful. Yeah. Our next scholar is Jeff Joseph. He studied healthcare in Africa, and now he is a capital projects and infrastructure associate attorney in Washington, D.C. And the last one I chose was Eric Evelyn. He studied internet censorship and free speech in both France and China. He's now working at an international company in London, where his fluency in 4 languages is coming in quite handy. So it's amazing.
Amazing. So cool. We cannot get enough of these alum stories. Lucy, you're going to be up on that screen someday, too. We can't wait to see what happens there. Thank you, Lucy and Beth, for that glimpse into the Global Scholars Program. Thank you. All right. Thank you, guys. So, Peter, have you ever been to the Global Scholars Symposium?
Absolutely amazing.
I mean, mind-blowing, right? Hey, do you know what's up next?
I may be a little biased, but I'd love to hear from some teachers.
Let's hear from two teachers who are shaping extraordinary student experiences. Please welcome Ty Whelan and Matt Goodman. All right, we're going to start with you, Ty, and we're going to start with a St. Luke's rite of passage, declamations. Declamations has been around for about 2 decades in the past. Students researched, wrote, and delivered a speech without any notes. I can feel the decades of dread and butterflies. I felt them like 10 minutes ago. But recently, your team reinvented declamations. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. Declamations is still an 8th grade rite of passage. However, we've shifted away from those traditional memorized presentations about other people, and now declamations is about telling personal narratives that illustrate our humanity. Over about 6 weeks, students go on a journey of self-discovery, unearthing experiences that they want to share. They build confidence and self-awareness, and they practice public speaking skills, refining techniques such as projection, eye contact, and pace.
And so why was this move to personal stories important?
Sure. We did this, we transitioned to this new approach for a few reasons. First of all, this new declamations directly taps into what 8th graders study all year long in English, stories. Second, it's really powerful for people to know themselves, partly because of how an experience shaped them, and to eloquently convey that to others. Third, we wanted to remove some of that potential dread that you spoke about by making this project more accessible and familiar. Beginning with a personal experience, something that the students know really well, builds upon a foundation of confidence. They practice a lot and receive feedback from teachers and family and even pets.
Wait, pets? Seriously, Ty, pets?
Yes, we do actually recommend that students practice with pets. Preferably dogs, because we know that cats are way more judgmental. And once they have practiced all this time and feel really comfortable and well prepared, then those butterflies and the dread retreat to their cocoons. By the end of declamation, students know that they are authors and storytellers. They know that they can use the writing process to transform raw minerals into polished gemstones. They can declaim who they are. And we, as parents and educators, and I'm both, I have an 8th grader this year here at SLS, we get to hear their stories, and we get to know them better as young humans. and even get a glimpse of the fine older humans that they will become.
That's true. That's true. And that storytelling, right? So storytelling isn't just in the humanities classes. Storytelling sort of transcends everything. And Matt, your engineering design class involves a different kind of storytelling. Your students have done pretty extensive work with the Parents Association. Tell us some more.
Yeah, so for the last 2 years, we've been working with our Parents Association to create installations for their spring gathering, which is one of their largest fundraising events of the year. At the start of the project, the parents provide a mood board, and the students get to work creating materials to pitch their ideas. Over the course of the semester, our class becomes a design consultancy where we make sure our parent clients are involved in every step of the process, from ideation to installation to finished product. Last year's theme was Storybook Soiree and took place in the New Canaan Public Library. The students created some pretty amazing work using the laser cutter, CNC router, 3D printers, woodshop, and other tools. Some of the projects included the auction wall, the entryway arch, over 100 flower and candle holders, and a functioning bar that sold for a $300 donation as part of the event.
That's pretty cool. I mean, look at this stuff on the screen. And so what Matt describes, what you described sounds like work. It sounds like real world work with client interaction and budgets and rounds of feedback and frustration and perseverance. I mean, is this what we're doing there?
Yeah, a big piece of this project is the client-designer relationship. Students practice leadership skills like collaboration and project management, and they also need to navigate difficult conversations when receiving tough feedback or negotiating a compromise with their clients. And it's pretty amazing how much their confidence grows every time they present their work. The students also have to document their process. Here's an example of a portfolio page for the book bar. Students not only need to do cool things with technology, they also need to be able to showcase their thinking to the outside world in an engaging way. All of these skills contribute to what I call a professional persona, or the way you navigate the working world through relationships. While we do have real clients and real deadlines in this project, the students have space to develop this persona because we're still working within our community. After this class, the students can take advanced engineering and design, where we expand on these transferable skills with clients outside of our community.
And so how can students get involved in this kind of work?
Oh yes, all the students in engineering and design have all taken at least 2 semester classes in the engineering program. One of those most popular classes is functional sculpture, where in the fall we create custom ukuleles. Anyone can reach out to me if you want to learn more about the program, and I hope your student joins us.
And I can imagine that some of you are going to be texting your kids, all right, you need to talk to Mr. Goodman, you need to talk to Mr. Whelan, learn about storytelling. You and your colleagues are doing the work that distinguishes St. Luke's. Thank you guys very, very much. All right, Peter, we have heard from, let's see, middle school, we've heard from upper school, we've heard from teachers and faculty. Who should we hear from next?
I just had an idea. I'm looking at this spectacular audience. What about some parents?
Some parents, right? Yeah. Well, you know what? We have a big audience, right? So why don't we pick one randomly from the audience? Everyone's making no eye contact, right? Look away, look away, look away. Let's get somebody on the aisle over there. How about you? I recognize that face. David Packman, come on down.
As the audience representative, I'd like to say Chris Rosso, and isn't this incredible? This guy's a talk show host. Amazing, a new career.
You're too kind, you're too kind. And I just want to assure the audience, just in case you think this thing is rigged, that's why we asked you to RSVP. We have a slide prepared for every single one of you.
So random.
All right, David. In the big wide world, you are known as a visionary investor, a connoisseur of disruptive technologies. I mean, you should Google the guy. I mean, amazing. Here at St. Luke's, you're known as a former trustee who co-led the strategic planning process. But my guess is what we're going to see up on the screen here is your most cherished role.
Yes, what you see up here is, aside from me trying to cosplay English aristocracy,
I'm not doing a very good job at it. My spectacular wife, Meredith. Our oldest daughter, Clara, who's in the audience, who graduated here in 2019. Our son, Sam. Sam graduated in 2022. And our daughter, Eloise, who's a senior at St. Luke's and is sitting right over there next to your daughter, Maggie.
So the cosplay part, that's low-hanging fruit. We're going to leave that alone.
Okay.
We know that you and Meredith believe in St. Luke's, or you wouldn't have had 3 kids go here, but you have gone above and beyond for this school, giving in so many ways, including mentoring aspiring entrepreneurs, lunch and lead talks, sharing time and experience with student clubs. Liz Perry said that you offered invaluable guidance to her team as they developed our new emerging technology curriculum. David, why the heck do you give so much?
Well, it's an uncomfortable question because sitting next to you and so many others in the audience who give far more than we do, we just like to do our part. But I think all of us giving pale in comparison to the patience and incredible dedication of the St. Luke's teachers, faculty, and staff. I mean, that's really what makes this place work. All of our children blossomed here at different times and in different ways. It sounds like similar to you. But the common thread through all of it was some spectacular interactions with teachers who showed incredible respect for them, who kind of reached in to get to know them, often without our own input, and sort of called them to greatness, right? Believed in them or treated them like adults. And our kids have responded so incredibly well to that. So many of their teachers they're still close with. They reach out to say hi and keep in touch with them. They even reach out to them during like sort of big life moments and talk to them about them, sometimes before they even talk to us about it. But so these relationships with teachers, it's what's just so profound. And it's these teachers preparing our kids, not just for who they are today, but who we sort of need them to become in the world. You're going to hear later tonight about our emerging tech curriculum here. And part of our strategic plan is to prepare students to thrive in the future. But technology is going to play a major impact on our future. It's already, doing something between powering us today and wreaking havoc on our society. And so our kids need to be prepared for that. Maybe the most poignant example of that, of course, is AI, which is impacting everything we do, work, music, but probably education most profoundly. And many schools are wrestling with this right now, like how do they prevent misuse of AI? But St. Luke's took a very different approach. St. Luke's assembled a team of mentors and experts to think about how can we capitalize and prepare our kids to not just master AI as a tool, but also to use it through an ethical lens. And to me, that strikes me as a powerful, incredible reason to support this place.
That's amazing. Supporting this place and doing all this work at the same time and doing all this research, and yet you still continue to support St. Luke's by co-chairing the Senior Gift Committee with Thea and Andrew, who we see up on the screen here. Tell us, David, why should senior parents give to the class of 2025 Senior Gift? Tell us about Senior Gift.
The Senior Gift is a great program. We've been doing it for about 14 years now. And each gift, each year, does 3 things. It meets a strategic need of the school. It sort of represents the senior class in a unique and interesting way. And it provides an enduring legacy for the school long after our kids are gone. So over the last 14 years, we've raised more than $7 million through the program, and you can see the effect it's had on the campus, the physical plant, and the programs here. So senior class gift really works, and it inspires 100% participation most years, so it's wonderful news too. So we love the program, it's very effective, and we're proud supporters of it.
That's great, and there's more giving to talk about. Another giving moment to celebrate. At this time each year, we kick off the St. Luke's Fund, which is also led by these amazing parent volunteers. And as you know, David, independent schools rely on tuition and fundraising for revenue. Tuition only covers 88% of the school's operating budget. The St. Luke's Fund directly supports our annual operating budget, and gifts to the fund have an immediate impact benefiting the current academic year. And I am pleased to present tonight that for the 23rd consecutive year, we have had 100% participation from St. Luke's faculty and staff, Board of Trustees, and Sodexo and Flick. And let me remind everybody that Sodexo and Flick are technically not St. Luke's employees. They're subcontracted, but they are clearly part of our community. And I think it's just incredible that these teachers, staff members, trustees, grounds crew, facilities crew, cafeteria crews, they all show their support for St. Luke's right out of the gate. And now, parents, it's your turn. The St. Luke's Fund appeals letters were mailed from the school earlier this week, and I really hope you'll take some time to review the letter and consider a gift. When you hear from any of the volunteers, please respond however you can and let them know you appreciate their efforts. They're making the calls for us. And wait a second, we have some breaking news. This is pretty cool. We're putting a slide together upstairs, and I'm pleased to announce that a group of generous parents and alum have issued an incredibly generous one-day giving challenge on November 12th, which is St. Luke's Day of Giving. If St. Luke's can raise $100,000 for the St. Luke's Fund, these amazing people will match each gift dollar for dollar up to $100,000. That, I think, calls for a proper celebration. Peter, you pull together a number from the band, maybe?
Absolutely. I just realized Sam's going to play keys on this. Laura's going to sing, and I got no one to play drums. Dave, do you happen to have your drumsticks with you? Me?
Hey! Would you look at that? St. Luke's, give it up for Peter Valera, the Not So Late Night Band, and special guest, David Packman.
Get up in the evening, and I ain't got nothing to say. I come home in the morning, I go to bed feeling the same way. I ain't nothing but tired. Yeah, I'm just tired and bored with myself. Hey there, baby, I could use just a little help. You can't start a fire. You can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark. Just keep getting clearer. Radio's on, I'm moving around the place. I check my look in the mirror. Wanna change my clothes, my hair, my face, and I ain't getting nowhere. No, I'm just living in a dump like this. There's something happening somewhere. Baby, I just know there is. You can't start a fire. Can't start a fire without a spark. This gun's for hire, even if we're just dancing in the dark.
David Packman, wow. Peter, do you think he could give up his day job? Should we check with Meredith first? Just kidding. Yeah, no. You guys are awesome. That was amazing. The downside to being awesome is that somebody has to follow awesome, but I think I have just the right person to do that. Please welcome St. Luke's 11th head of school, Dr. Mary Halpin Carter. Nice touch with Hail to the Chief. All right, Mary, it's hard to believe it, but you're already in your 3rd year as St. Luke's head of school.
That is true. It was just 3 years ago, right here on this night, that my installation took place.
And that went pretty fast. Consider this, also going to go fast. In 4 years, St. Luke's will celebrate its 100th birthday, 100 years old. You said something to me that was very interesting about this milestone. Can you share that with our audience?
Sure. Well, I mean, turning 100, that is a pretty big deal for any school. And thinking about what were the building blocks that led to St. Luke's becoming such a stellar school, this is really the time to kind of consider that. And while so many people have built St. Luke's, I've spent a lot of time thinking about 2 of my predecessors' really complementary legacies. Dick Whitcomb, longtime head of school, really is known for bringing the warmth and the belonging that we treasure here. And then Mark Davis, his legacy was really academic and faculty and staff excellence. And those legacies were so complementary. As we think about it, it's that combined legacy, that identity we think of here of warmth and excellence that is so important and distinctive.
Absolutely. So tell us, Mary, what will the Carter legacy be?
There's an easy question.
Of course it is. It's a layup.
Well, my hope is that we are able to give every student the best of what St. Luke's offers. And what that really sort of summarized down is an exceptional education for every student every year. So I think about it as the promise of the mission statement personalized to each child.
So let me pull out what you just said, the sentence before. Every student, every year. That's a pretty high bar.
That is a high bar, but that's what we do at St. Luke's. And I think we get there by thinking about systems and structures and programs and putting those in place. So for example, we've been working on a network of mentors and motivators, which includes an amazing array of wonderful people, teachers and advisors and coaches and counselors and class deans. And really part of our work is to make sure that information about students is shared with all of these wonderful people, these adults really working to the students' benefit. Okay, another hefty slide, like seriously. I would assume that he is not just up there because he's adorable. I would assume it is because Hefty is part of a network of adults, and he is an adult in dog years, who are looking to take care of students and making sure students feel well cared for. In addition, as we know from Ty Wieland, Hefty is very helpful in feedback on declamations.
He doesn't verbalize that well, though. But he's calming, and he is part of this village of mentors and motivators, which also includes our Office of Equity and Inclusion, our Office of Wellbeing, our academic support team. How do they all fit into this mentors and motivators idea?
Well, Jackie's team and Kari's team really focus on the student experience, which is really what we're talking about tonight. And I'm so glad that we're really leaning into data. It's important, one-on-one conversations and anecdotes are incredibly important. However, to get a full picture of the student experience, we really need data.
So how does data fit into a student experience? That seems counterintuitive. So where does data fit?
Sure, well, why don't I give you a few examples? I mean, our faculty and staff worked on the Harvard Relationship Mapping Initiative, and what that was really about was checking to see that every student has a trusted adult on the faculty and staff. And the results were actually great news, which is the vast majority of students have 2 or more, sometimes many more, trusted adults. However, for the handful who did not, we were able to jump right on that and connect them to the wonderful network of adults who are here.
Yeah, it's high impact work, and I also know that students and faculty and staff also took something called a FLAIR survey this last spring. What is the FLAIR survey?
So there's more measurement, right? In May, the Office of Equity and Inclusion launched the FLAIR survey, which was an invitation to reflect back, share about experiences with race at St. Luke's. And what that learning that we are still gathering from those results will help us to improve and also to measure the effectiveness of programs.
And so how can we as parents help with this kind of research into the student experience?
Great. So for the first time, you'll be getting a parent satisfaction survey, and actually students will be getting a satisfaction survey each season, fall, winter, spring. If you could fill those out and get them right back to us, we'd be so appreciative.
That's great. So repetitive feedback, check us in, see how we're doing. I also know that there is another group that is central to the Mentors and Motivators Network, and that, of course, is our college counseling office. We don't... We typically think of college counseling as something that seniors do and maybe a little bit of juniors, but it really applies to the school, to the whole school. How does that work, Mary?
It does, Chris. I mean, our college counselors really want to get to know your children, and they want to get to know them young, not because they should be worrying about college young, but because they just cherish the opportunity to watch kids grow and grow up here at St. Luke's. And you may notice that our college counselors are everywhere, and they're there to see your child score and to see your child miss. And they're there to watch a shy student finally get up and speak at town meeting. And all of these experiences that they share with students and that they hear put them in a unique position when it actually is time to give guidance on the right college fit. And in addition, when it's time for recommendations, they give detailed, extraordinary letters of recommendation for our students as well.
And that personalization, that's a tough word to say, that's part of the experience. Megan and I have worked with the college counseling team twice, soon to be a third time, and we can vouch that these relationships, this personalization, this is a defining part of the St. Luke's experience. And the college counseling offices, it's very human approach. I think really helps students and parents navigate the college process without the madness. And yet it still maintains a very high quality matriculation list, which I think we've put up here on the screen.
Absolutely. This list is a point of pride. It's always on the website, so you can look at it whenever you would like. And it's also evidence that warmth and excellence produce outstanding results. So as long as we're seizing on points of pride. I was going to say bragging, but we're really just seizing on points of pride.
That's safe.
Another point of pride is our Board of Trustees. And this is a stellar group of people who really give guidance to make sure that we stay true to the mission and true to the school's values. Again, if you have website browsing time, reading their bios, you would get a sense of how blessed we are to have such accomplished people who believe so deeply in the school.
That's true, and I'm honored to work alongside all of those trustees.
Yeah, and while we're taking a moment, I'd like to honor two beloved trustees who passed away this summer. Our dear, dear friend Tim Lewis passed away this very summer. A person of just the highest character, a gentleman, a scholar, a tremendous husband, father, and friend.
And Tim was also a dedicated St. Luke's trustee. His exceptional warmth, his wisdom, his kindness, his humor will be deeply missed.
Many of us are just very honored that we had the chance to work with Tim.
Yeah, and our hearts remain with the Camerata Lewis family. We also, unfortunately, lost another trustee.
We did.
Emeritus, right?
We did. I was very fortunate in my first years to be able to meet Roby Harrington. Roby Harrington is a alum and former board chair, and just an incredibly delightful spirit. For 7 decades, he was loyal and loving to St. Luke's, and really that loyalty was infectious, and really shared it with other alumni, inspiring alumni and board members for many, many years.
Absolutely. Roby was a treasure as well. These are difficult words to share, but it reminds us just how fortunate we were to have known Tim and Roby. As I think about both of them, fine human beings really representing everything that St. Luke's is all about: a moral compass, commitment to service, confidence to leadership. And I look to them as models, and I think that they are the sort of the right people to have in mind as we start to talk a little bit more about leading with humanity. And to join Mary and I in that conversation, please welcome Katie Borse, Ava Becker, and Bhavya Samaya. All right, Katie, we first learned about leading with humanity at last year's State of the School. Tell us what's happened since then.
Thank you, Chris. We are so incredibly excited that the Leading with Humanity curriculum has been fully integrated into our middle school. Every single student in our middle school will take a leadership course every year during their 4 years of middle school. And what you can see here is we focus on these key essential skills that build year after year after year, as you heard from our 6th graders tonight. And what we know to be true is that leading with humanity really requires us to be intentional about building these skills for our middle school students.
Absolutely. And recently, we had a young alumna visit our pep rally who really embodied leading with humanity.
We sure did. You could hear a pin drop in the athletic center during the homecoming pep rally, hearing from this alum, and I'd love for us to take a look right now.
People often come up to me and ask me, how did you do it? How did you go from a shark attack and an amputation to medaling at the Paralympics in just over a year? And to be honest, I don't totally know myself, but I know that some of what did help me kind of make this comeback in just over a year, I practiced right here at St. Luke's as a high schooler, like many of you. Things like hard work, leadership, kindness, and inclusivity. St. Luke's gives us so many chances to practice these values so that we can show up in our life as our best selves, whether that's as a great student, teammate, friend, sibling, or whether that's trying to recover from trauma, hardship, or loss. So for me, practicing these values every day at St. Luke's and noticing them in my classmates and my teachers enabled me to tap into those values when I needed them the most. The hard work was something that was always valued and emphasized at St. Luke's for me. Work works. Do the work, put it in every day, and the result that you want, or something close to it, will happen. And that mindset of embracing the work and really finding joy in the journey of the everyday grind completely saved me this year. In terms of leadership, I've spent so much time, as I'm sure many of you do, on the countless leadership opportunities that St. Luke's offers all over. And I'm so glad I did, because it prepared me for this year when I very much needed to find ways that I could lead and contribute to a brand new community. My efforts to positively impact the para community and people with disabilities gave me so much strength, hope, and happiness, and really made me feel empowered again. And I took with me this year a big lesson that for me was reinforced during my leadership experiences at St. Luke's, which is the idea that we don't need to be the captain or the MVP to be a leader and to contribute. All of us have the capacity to be a leader in our environments. And lastly, kindness and inclusivity. We're all right now feet away from the Be Kind Plaza. I walked by it every single day of high school, and I'm so grateful I did, because kindness and inclusivity are truly what pulled me through this year, when I so desperately needed to know that any kindness I could give from my hospital bed or on one leg still mattered. And any kindness I could accept from others was game-changing for me. And on the note of kindness, I want to wrap up with one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. And it's, "People will forget what you said, People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I want to let you all know how you made me feel when I opened up a video in Paris of all of you live streaming and cheering for me during my races. It truly meant so much, and it made my family cry. I will never forget the depth of kindness this community showed me when I needed it so much. And I hope every single one of you knows how much your individual acts of kindness matter and how powerful they become when combined as the St. Luke's community. Thank you.
That is an inspiring message, and it's so great that our kids could see it. Allie talked about finding joy in the journey, and that word journey reminds me of our new Compass program. So let's talk about Compass, this whole idea of having a map to navigate the journey through high school. Katie, can you tell us some more?
I would love to. So our Compass program also launched this year. As you heard from Head of Upper School, Dr. Billy Bluges, last year at State of the School, our individualized coaching program, our Compass program, is really designed to help students starting in the 8th grade really think about how they can explore their experiences and their interests and make informed, intentional decisions about the many, many opportunities that exist in the upper school. So just this last year, we trained 14 faculty staff members to become the inaugural Compass coaches for St. Luke's. And just last month, our 8th graders had their first Compass coaching session, which is the inventory interview, where coaches asked questions like, what activity makes you the happiest? And that really helps coaches design the first draft of their Compass map. And as we'll soon find out, the Compass map is a living, breathing document. So students can edit it along the way as they try different things. They also have ownership of designing their Compass map as well. And in December, students will get their first draft of their map in 8th grade. Then they work with their coaches in the spring to think about their course selection for the upper school. And we're really excited to think about more ways that we can develop this to be a true part of our upper school experience.
And so earlier I talked about going right to the source. And so Ava, you are the source. You just went through the Compass inventory interview. Can you tell us what that was like?
Yes, of course. My Compass coach was Mr. Goodman, and he was, we together had a conversation one-on-one about the interests I have, and we focused a lot on how much I love language, traveling, and living abroad. We also talked a lot about my interests and hobbies outside of school, including, for me, theater, acting, theater and acting, singing, and of course, for me, I love food, so baking.
And so as you focus on those interviews and your skills and your hobbies and so forth, did any of those questions surprise you?
Yes. Mr. Goodman asked me what I wanted to be when I was little, and I thought that was a surprising question, especially because my dream was to be a rock star doctor. Obviously, I'm not on that path. No mohawk, no stethoscope. However, I'm still super interested in performing arts and biology.
Ava, how do you think your map might help you in the upper school?
Well, I think that this Compass program is perfect for guiding students towards classes that they might want to take in high school. And I think it also is super helpful for guiding them towards opportunities to help them, follow their interests. And I think that maybe that, yes, yeah.
A program that leads you to opportunities, pursues your interests. We also had another exciting launch under the Leading with Humanity umbrella. In August, St. Luke's held its first Leadership Institute created for upper schoolers. There's another one coming up on November 22nd. 40 students attended this summer, including our next guest. Bhavya, can you describe your experience with the Leadership Institute?
Absolutely. So, as you may have heard, as you just heard, this was the first Leadership Institute that St. Luke's has ever hosted in its history. And I found this to be a really fulfilling experience where students who are already leaders at St. Luke's and who want to learn how to be a leader both in and out of the SLS community were able to come and join forces in a way. We were able to engage in insightful discussion, hands-on activities, and just generally learn more about what it is to be a leader, and then extend that into the question, why is a leader important? Why is it important to be a leader? And so with the many activities that we had, and the many discussions that we had, and the many slideshows that we watched, and all the activities that we did, we were able to put all of these skills together and learn how to work more cohesively as a community.
So let me just remind you, it was summertime, you were on break. This was optional. So what made you decide to spend your free time doing this work at the Leadership Institute?
That is a wonderful question. In the past few years at St. Luke's, I've had the opportunity to be in several leadership positions, whether that be this year specifically being on the executive board of the student council or captaining the math team for the last couple of years. But I've come to learn that being a leader doesn't always mean knowing everything. It means that you have room to learn, and that I took this Leadership Institute as a way to challenge myself and to learn more about the importance of leadership, not just in the SLS community, but in general, out in the world. And at the same time, I wasn't just there to learn, but as I previously stated, there were many students there who came to learn more about how to be a leader who hadn't necessarily been a leader before. And so this was a chance for me to help them grow as well.
If you had to name one takeaway, what would it be?
So there's a very common misconception that leaders have to be headstrong and that leaders know all the answers. But after that Leadership Institute, I've come to learn that leaders aren't meant to be invincible. They are meant to be genuine and accept and acknowledge when they don't have all the answers. And this allows for a much more collaborative community in which the leader doesn't just direct students in their group or direct people in their community and tell them what to do. It's more about a give and take relationship where they're able to learn from the students or people that they're leading. And that's a skill that I will take with me as I continue to lead in St. Luke's and as our community continues to thrive.
I think you're already doing that work. You're already a leader. Both of you are leaders. All three of you are leaders. Thank you guys for helping St. Luke's lead with humanity. If you didn't pick up on the theme, we started with the little ones who are poised and articulate and their feet barely touch the floor, and yet they then still mature into these young adults who are also poised and articulate, ready to lead. This is what we're all about. We've got one final interview tonight that will highlight the pioneering work that St. Luke's is doing in the field of emerging technologies. So please welcome our Assistant Head of School for Academics, Liz Perry. All right, so Liz, as we talked about with David, you helped lead a team that developed an emerging technologies curriculum in a very short span of time. What was the urgency around this subject?
Sure. So, as Mary said, our goal is always an exceptional student experience. And central to that project, of course, is preparing students for a future where they will need to adapt to new technologies. And if I think about disruptive technologies that exist in our world right now, whether it's something like generative AI or genetic engineering or maybe virtual and augmented reality, those hold the power to improve our world, but only if we use them ethically. And these are questions that are going to be facing this next generation of students. Questions like, will we allow the incredible power of these tools to deepen existing inequalities in our world? Or are we going to harness the power of these tools to make our world more sustainable, more equitable, and even more beautiful? And, Chris, I would argue these are not just questions that kids who like to code are going to be facing. These are questions that every student needs to grapple with, whether they picture themselves one day in the arts, in medicine, in law, in business, in public service. These questions are relevant to every student.
And so how was St. Luke's able to be so agile getting in front of this?
Sure. So, it's always our job to be surveying the world, the landscape, and asking, what do those developments mean for students here at St. Luke's? I like to say we're always looking around the corner. So, as you heard David say earlier, when ChatGPT really arrived, coming up on almost 2 years ago, we immediately put together a team here at St. Luke's. Of course, we needed to update our policies. But I would say more than that, we needed to build a framework that would guide us. And you've heard me talk about this before. Our framework, I put it very simply, is prevent the bad stuff and explore the good stuff. So, the bad stuff you want to prevent. You want to prevent cheating, privacy violations, and we want to explore the potential upside for creativity and for learning. And fortunately, we have the right faculty to do that.
We do. Liz, would you fill everyone in on the new middle school curriculum, please?
Sure. So we already have such a robust curriculum in the upper school in computer science and engineering, and we wanted to be sure that our middle schoolers would be ready to take advantage of that curriculum when they got to the upper school. And so building on the existing strong foundation in our middle school design lab and in our middle school science program, we created a 4-year required sequence for all middle schoolers. We were excited to roll it out this fall. And I will tell you, Chris, to our knowledge, we're the only school in our area that has this. And you know, if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense because being a fluent user and even a creator of technology is really part of what it means to be an educated person today. I would argue it belongs now in the core curriculum. And if you look behind me, you can see that each year has a different area of focus over the 4 years of middle school. And I thought it might be fun for us to take a peek at what our 7th graders have been up to in their course on ethics and AI.
Great, let's roll that clip.
Computing and AI ethics is part of the core curriculum at St. Luke's in 7th grade because these are digital natives. We don't want to miss the opportunity to teach the students the fundamentals behind the technologies they already have so that they can then extrapolate and learn more and have more intuitions about artificial intelligence, other emerging technologies, so that they can understand it, they can build it, they can talk about it in any context.
He's teaching us how AI grabs certain information and puts them together.
As it's becoming stronger, I think I'm learning more and more about it, so I have to be more careful with it.
What makes AI so different and so much more urgent? Computer science and programs and algorithms up until this point have not been predictive. They have been something that we created as we wanted it to be.
AI can probably replace a lot of things that humans do nowadays, and they can do it efficiently, faster, and better.
Students at this age are on the cusp of becoming young adults. We don't want students to feel like what they are walking into is in control of them, right? We want to have students understand technology and AI in a way that doesn't make them feel like this is going to take away their jobs. They can make decisions rather than defer to decisions being made by technologies. And understanding that process can help them understand things like, why doesn't my Wi-Fi work today? And why doesn't ChatGPT work in this case?
I knew AI was involved in things you watched and recommending certain things, but I didn't really know how they did it.
When I used ChatGPT before, whatever was on there I thought was right because I thought anything that they said was correct. And now that I've taken this class, whatever ChatGPT says might be correct, but I have to dig more and do more stuff to make sure and prove that answer.
The ethics part of the class is really getting students to engage with their actions and possible consequences of those actions and the impact of whatever their decisions are in life, in doing homework, and whatever it is.
This class has helped me maybe stay off my phone a little more, but also it kind of experiment on it and see what else I could be doing on it. My phone was in control of me before. I've been a little more in control of my phone with controlling what I am and what I am not going to be watching.
I want them to come away with exploring their curiosity, a new framework of thinking, whether it be critical thinking or inquiry about systems or whatever it is, as long as they have a new set of eyes open to the world once this class is over, then my goal is complete.
Those words that Hannah talked about, ethical digital natives, that just didn't exist a while ago, and we are doing that work thanks to you, Liz. And I also asked Liz to sort of go to the archives or into the files and say, where are they now? Just as we did with Beth, some where are they now alumni examples. Can you share those with us?
Sure, I'll complain just as Beth did that it was a very challenging assignment to select just a handful of alums to share with you this evening. But the alums that we'll spotlight here all went from a St. Luke's education into careers where they are using technology and adapting to new technologies as they emerge, and in some cases creating new technologies across a range of industries. So let's start with Ben, who is an award-winning documentary filmmaker. And Ben told me, he said, embracing new technologies has always been key to advancing filmmaking, but he doesn't think that AI will replace the human element of storytelling anytime soon. He does, however, use those tools to cut his costs and to streamline his process. Next is Josh. Josh went from SLS to Tufts University, where he studied human-computer interaction, and he now works as a software engineer at JP Morgan Chase. Another engineer is Alex. Alex is working at a startup with a great name, Havoc AI, and he is working on a kind of autonomous vehicle you might not have heard of, self-driving boats. Sam is working at the intersection of business and technology, and she's pursuing her MBA in quantitative finance at Wharton. And finally, we'll end with Becca, or maybe I should say Dr. Leonard, because a few weeks ago she defended her dissertation. And she focused on molecular genetics and microbiology. And Mary, she's going to have us have fewer sick days in the future because her area of research was on RNA viruses, which include things like flu vaccines.
Excellent.
Amazing. I could sit here for an hour and listen to outcomes like that, those stories that we can tell, and we never tire of those. And when we talk to our graduates, be it a year or decades after their graduation, there is one common theme that shines through, and that is their appreciation for exceptional teachers. And so I have a top secret envelope right here. If you could pass this to Mary. And Mary, would you do us the honor, please?
Happy to, happy to. Well, every year, a member of St. Luke's faculty and staff receives the Edward B. Blakely Distinguished Faculty Award. And the award goes to an individual who exemplifies Mr. Blakely's founding values of excellence and character. And this year, the award goes to Susan Doran. Well, Susan, it is my joy and honor to celebrate you as the Blakely Award winner this year. It's pretty spectacular, and we're so glad that your family is here as well.
Yes, I have. Almost everybody, and I don't need to be mic'd. But I probably have the shortest speech of my entire career here. Teaching literature and the humanities to your children at St. Luke's has been and will continue to be the privilege of my life.
So now I get to tell people even more about Susan Doran than they may know, because we know you as a phenomenal master English teacher, but folks may not know that she started here in 1998, and she's had many roles. She's been of course, a champion of the arts and humanities all the way along. But she has had a number of roles in the school. She has been a key member of the theater team, putting on after-school productions. She created the first interdisciplinary course in the humanities. She's the co-founder of the Literary Scholars Program. And you all have a chance to learn from Susan because she co-leads the book chats, which are fabulous, that the Parents Association puts on with Hunter Martin. She's taught almost every course in the English department, but her favorite are the Brits. Mary Shelley, Jane Austen, Oscar Wilde, and in fact, one of the very first courses that Susan designed was a course on Shakespeare. And as part of that course, she invited, imagine being a student in this class. She invited students to her home where the students recited sonnets and also enjoyed homemade desserts. 25 years later, Sonnets and Sweets is still going strong, which is pretty spectacular. And I actually even got a chance to go one time, which is pretty wonderful. And so in keeping with that idea, we have a Susan-inspired sonnet. And it just so happens, Susan, that on stage, we have not only one of your literary scholars, but she is a literary scholar who is also an award-winning poetry performer. Laurel, would you please take it away?
In halls where wisdom grows with every year, Miss Doran reigns, her lessons rich and bold. Her voice and love of language are sincere when Shakespeare's words are spun in threads of gold. Her methods, tried and true, her students learn. You won't need that laptop, thank you, dear. Years later to her orbit do return, alumni far and wide, still in her sphere. True passion for the stage, for art, for youth, we see in every scholar she inspires. Her craft is not just knowledge, but the truth. She sets young St. Luke's hearts and minds afire. This Blakely honor rests where it belongs, upon Miss Doran, wise and full of song.
Laurel, thank you. Thank you so much, Laurel. We appreciate that. And Susan, your reputation as a person with a passion for subject, a love of young people, it is set. And we're not the only people who believe this. Let's take a look.
Words I would use to describe historian, I would say non-pareil.
Anglophilic.
Galvanizing.
Histrionic.
Extremely frank.
Erudite.
Vitalizing.
Solicitous.
Flair for the dramatic.
Aeonian.
Brio, like as in she brought a certain vitality to each of her lessons. She definitely made them come alive in various ways, in unexpected ways.
She kept every class really engaging because she would set the scene. She would dim the lights and light a candle, maybe play some music.
It's hard not to engage when you have a teacher that's that excited about the content and is going to read directly from the text and really analyze the text with you and involve everybody in the class. The energy is kind of infectious in that sense. So I think I really participated more in class because of that.
And her listening to my ideas, but then saying to me, okay, one level deeper, one level deeper. And I think that's something that I've tried to carry from her classroom into the rest of my life, where there's always a little bit more that you can explore. There's always a little bit more to discover, whether it's in a text or whether it's in a relationship with one of your friends. I think that she really pushes you to see the deeper meaning in books and in life, and that's something that is just so valuable. I'm so grateful to carry from her classroom. Miss Doran really was the one that gave me kind of the strength and the confidence to believe that my way of looking at something was important.
And I think that's like the most important thing a teacher can do, is to say to their student, your perspective is valid and what you think you should share. It's worthy to be shared.
Mrs. Doran definitely made me feel like I had a lot of potential personally, not just as a student at St. Luke's or anything like that, but just as a person. Hey, there's a lot here. You have skills and you should use them to your fullest extent. I think that made a really big impact, not only in her class, but in other classes and how I approached school in general at St. Luke's, and even to this day now in college.
Mrs. Doran definitely would be the reason why I'm teaching today, for sure. Kind of modeled my pedagogy after her. I'm basically just ripping her off. She has a certain style and a way of expressing herself and teaching that I just found kind of captivating and kind of cool in a way. If, as far as teachers can be cool, I thought she was as cool as they got.
There's just something magical, perhaps her quick wit and her caring really for everyone in her kind of tough way. But in a way, we're trying to describe what magic is, and so I'm going to leave it at that.
I had to include fabulous because she's just so fabulous.
Susan, when it comes to exceptional student experiences, you are a key ingredient. Please accept the Distinguished Faculty Award with our deep gratitude.
That is a wrap for our show. Before we go tonight, I have to thank our incredibly talented production crew, the students, the faculty, everybody made this show possible. Thank you to our Parents Association for putting on an awesome party downstairs to get us all started. And thank you parents, for entrusting your kids with us at St. Luke's. Thank you for joining us on our 23rd annual State of the School. Get home safe, and good night, St. Luke's.
So winter nights in Paris, sitting clouds or stargaze at your skin. We can talk all night, don't even need a language, 'cause we're bringing something deeper from within. When I'm lost in your eyes, I find my escape. No other you can come try and replace you. With you is where I find my warm embrace.